Hello and welcome to That Was Golf. My name is Calum MacVicar. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Weekly Review, where we keep you up to date with the highlights and scores from men's and women's golfing tours from around the world. We start this week with the Curtis Cup, which was held at Bel Air Country Club in Los Angeles, California, USA. Winning here was Team USA. Team USA have won the Curtis Cup back from Team Great Britain and Ireland, a win which was capped off by a truly dominant display in the Sunday singles. Friday and Saturday 4-ball and foursomes matches had left Team USA 7-5 up on Team Great Britain and Ireland, a somewhat tight margin heading into Sunday singles. After 2 wins in the first 2 matches, Team Great Britain and Ireland may have thought a chance of a comeback was on the cards. However, as American teams in golf contests often do, the prowess of individual performance shines, as the next 6 matches of the 8 singles were all won by America, with Farah O'Keefe making the all-important point that sealed the 10.5 points needed to claim the trophy. Over on the Tartan Pro Tour, it was the Scottish Par 3 Challenge held at the Paul Lawrie Golf Centre in Aberdeen, Scotland. Winning here was Sam Lock. A wire-to-wire win for Sam Lock produced the Scotsman's 9th victory on the Tartan Pro Tour. Only 8 players in the 72-man field managed to finish the tournament under par, with Lock well out in front on 11 under par, 4 shots ahead of American John Vogelpohl in second place. Whilst this event does provide Order of Merit points on the Tartan Pro Tour, it does not provide any OWGR points for players. Over on the Asian Tour, it was a co-sanctioned event with the Live Golf League, the International Series Morocco, held at the Royal Golf Deir Es Salam Red Course in Rabat, Morocco. Winning here was Taichi Ko. A second win on the Asian Tour and a first International Series win for Taichi Ko came at the expense of one of his childhood heroes, Bubba Watson. 2-time Masters champion Watson entered the final round 1 shot clear of Ko on 15 under par, but could not maintain that lead, with bogeys at 9 and 13 denting his scorecard, whilst Ko made only 1 bogey and 6 birdies in his final round, finishing on 19 under par and 1 shot ahead of Watson. Ko now moves to second place in the Asian Tour Order of Merit and third on the International Series Order of Merit, which are both led by Aussie Travis Smythe. On the LPGA Tour, it was the Dow Championship held at Midland Country Club in Midland, Missouri, USA. Winning here was the team of Gina Kim and Yana Wilson. The Super Sunday round of 62 8 under par gave Gina Kim and Yana Wilson the win by a 2-shot lead over Hai-Jin Choi and Hyo-Woo Kim. This is both players' first wins on the LPGA Tour, with Kim playing in her 64th start and Wilson making her 9th start in her debut season on the tour, after gaining promotion via the Epson Tour's Order of Merit. Over on the Corn Ferry Tour, it was the Ocunet Classic held at Tascosa Golf Club, the La Palma course in Amarillo, Texas, USA. Winning here was Zach Fisher. A first win on the Corn Ferry Tour for Zach Fisher in 171 starts moves him up to 16th place in the season's Order of Merit standings. A double bogey on the 14th hole of Fisher's final round looks set to derail him and draw him into a playoff with players chasing him in the field, but a birdie on 16 followed by 2 pars to close ensured the slimmest of leads of 1 under par at the end of the tournament after he had entered the final round 4 shots ahead of the field. Over on the Alps Golf Tour, it was the Alps Andalucia Roquetas de Mar held at Club de Golf Playa Serena in Roquetas de Mar, Spain. Winning here was Enrico De Nito. Strong winds in the final round of play caused testing conditions for players in Spain, with only 2 players in the 141-player field finishing the tournament under par. Enrico De Nito battled to an even par finish to remain on 1 under, whilst round 2 leader Mason Esom suffered the fates of the winds, dropping his 5-shot lead, falling from 6 under par to level with De Nito on 1 under par. Esom's troubles didn't end there, as he eventually lost out on the playoff, with De Nito winning after 3 holes. De Nito now moves to 5th place on the season's Order of Merit thanks to this win, while Esom moves to 9th place. Over on the Clutch Pro Tour, it was the Moto Caddy Championship held at Bishop's Stortford Golf Club in Bishop's Stortford, England. Winning here was Curtis Knipes. A first win on the Clutch Pro Tour for Curtis Knipes came courtesy of some excellent golf over the weekend. Rounds of 68, 63 and 67 on the par 70 Bishop's Stortford course saw Nipes finish with a 2-shot lead over 2 players in second place. The win sees Nipes move up to 5th place in the season's order of merit standings. Over on the Epson Tour, it was the Firekeepers Casino Hotel Championship held at the Medalist Golf Club in Marshall, Missouri, USA. Winning here was Lauren Nguyen. A wet and windy filled final day in Missouri was not enough to stop Lauren Nguyen from taking out the trophy, as she claimed her maiden professional win and first win on the Epson Tour. After a 4-hour play delay, the final played out with Nguyen sitting top of the leaderboard on 12 under par and 3 shots ahead of Jenny Coleman in solo second place. Nguyen moves up to 4th place in the race to the card order of merit thanks to this win, a jump of 26 places. On the PGA Tour Champions, it was the Principal Charity Classic held at Wakonda Club in Des Moines, Iowa, USA. Winning here was Zach Johnson. A second win in his debut season on the PGA Tour Champions for Zach Johnson as he wins in his hometown of Des Moines, Iowa. His final score of 17 under par through the 3 rounds was achieved with a 69, 63 and 67 at the par 72 course, with the 63 9 under the lowest round of the weekend and the 67 in the final round the lowest round of the final day. On the KLPGA, it was the Korean Women's Open Golf Championship held at Lakewood Country Club, Mountain and Forest courses in Yangju, Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. Winning here was Min-sol Kim. A 4th win on the KLPGA for Min-sol Kim came at the conclusion of a very challenging Korea Women's Open that saw only 2 of the 129-strong field finish under par. Kim successfully converted a 36-hole lead after being tied with Yunseo Yang heading into the final round. Both entered the final round on 3 under. Kim's score of 71 under par was enough to give the slimmest of margins over Yang and give Kim her 2nd win of the season. Kim now sits top of the official money and KLPGA points list for the season thanks to this win. On the EU Legends Tour, it was the Costa Navarino Legends Tour Trophy held at Costa Navarino Golf Resort in Costa Navarino, Greece. Winning here was Simon Griffiths. Simon Griffiths secured his 3rd win on the EU Legends Tour, getting the better of 7 other players who joined him on tied first heading into the final round. Griffiths' final round of 67 5 under saw him move clear out in front of his fellow round 2 leaders, finishing on 12 under par with David Drysdale the nearest player to him on a score of 9 under in 2nd place. Griffiths now moves up to 5th place in the season's order of merit thanks to this win. On the PGA Tour, it was the RBC Canadian Open held at TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley, the North Course in Caledon Village, Ontario, Canada. Winning here was Bud Colley. In his 239th start on the PGA Tour, Bud Colley is a winner for the first time. Having only been playing again on the tour for the last 2 years following a life-threatening car crash that almost ended his career 8 years ago, an emotional Colley was a worthy winner in Canada, shooting rounds of 69, 63, 66 and 65 at the par 70 course, to finish on 17 under par and 2 shots clear of Matt Fitzpatrick in solo second. Over on the Ladies European Tour Access Series, it was the Czech Ladies Challenge held at Panorama Golf Resorts in Katsov, Czechia. Winning here was Hulda Gestsdotter. A tough and windy test for the players in Czechia this weekend saw eventual winner Hulda Gestsdotter, the only player to not be over par, finishing on even par for the tournament to take out her maiden win on the Ladies European Tour Access Series, and her first win as a pro. 3 straight rounds of 72 even par gave Gestsdotter her final winning score, as she was the only player to not have a round over par in the field. On the Sunshine Tour, it was the Moping Zambia Open, held at Nkana Golf Club in Kitwe, Zambia. Winning here was Stuart Krog. After a slow start of 76 4 over par in round 1 on the par 72 course, Zimbabwean golfer Stuart Krog went on to shoot impressively lower rounds on the testing Nkana Golf Club, going 72, 69 and 66 to end on 5 under par and win by one shot. Only 10 of the 130-player strong field finished the tournament under par, with Krog's final score 66, 6 under par, the best of any player in the field in the final round. The win sees Krog move to 8th place in the order of merit standings. Out on the Hotel Planner Tour, it was the Interwetten Open, held at Schladming-Dachstein Golf Club in Oberhaus, Austria. Winning here was Filip Mruzek. Claiming his first win on the Hotel Planner Tour, Filip Mruzek converted a 36-hole lead and beat out fellow round 3 leader Julian Perico by 3 shots. Finishing on a score of 18 under par with rounds of 65, 65, 63 and 65 at the par 70 course, Mruzek finished one shot ahead of Luis Albertse in second place and jumps 58 places on the Road to Mallorca order of merit to 8th place. Out on the PGA Tour Americas, it was the Inter Rapidissimo Golf Championship held at Club El Rincon de Cajica in Bogota, Colombia. Winning here was Drew Doyle. Drew Doyle managed to retain a one-shot lead from round 3 to the end of Sunday's final round and claim his first win on the PGA Tour Americas. A 13-foot putt to save par on the 18th gave Doyle a one-shot lead over Canadian player Etienne Papineau after rounds of 66, 67, 68 and 69 at the par 72 course. The win for Doyle sees him move into 3rd place in the season's order of merit, just ahead of last week's winner Joey Savoy, who is playing in his home country open, the Canadian Open on the PGA Tour this week, where he finished tied 67th after making the cut. On the JLPGA, it was the Suntory Ladies Open Golf Tournament held at the Rokko Kokusai Golf Club in Kobe, Hyogo Prefecture, Japan. Winning here was Shiho Kawaki. Shiho Kawaki notched up her second win of the season on the JLPGA, her last coming just under a month ago at the Sky RKB Ladies Classic. Getting back to her JLPGA season after a tied 14th finish at the US Women's Open last week, Kawaki converted a 54-hole lead after finishing round 1 in second place. Her final score of 19 under par was enough to see off Keina Nagai in solo second place, who finished just one shot behind on 18 under. Kawaki now sits second place in the season's Mercedes ranking order of merit, and she gains a spot in this year's Women's Open at Royal Lytham in St Anne's thanks to this win. Out on the KPGA, it was the KPGA Classic, held at Cyprus Golf and Resort, the North and South course, in Seogwipo-si, Jeju-do, South Korea. Winning here was Yubin Yang. Yubin Yang successfully converted a 54-hole lead to claim his 4th title on the KPGA Tour. In the modified Stableford event, where players got 8 points for an albatross, 5 for an eagle, 3 for a birdie, 0 for a par, -1 for a bogey and -3 for a double bogey, Yang was the only player to have 4 successive rounds scoring double-figure points, with rounds of +15, +12, +12 and +10 to give a total of +49 points, 4 points ahead of Yunshin Park in solo second place. On the Nordic Golf League, it was the indoor golf group Göteborg Open held at Force Gardens Golf Club in Kungsbacka, Sweden. Winning here was Anton Carlsen. A lengthy playoff battle of 6 holes between Anton Carlsen, Joachim Brandt Hansen and Lucas Augustin were needed before Carlsen eventually broke clear to win the trophy. Carlsen had sat out in front heading into the final round, but a final round of 1 over par 72 dropped him into the playoff. His win sees him move up to 3rd place in the season's order of merit standings for the year. And lastly this week we head to the Pro Golf Tour, where it was the VGC Bodenz Open, held at Golf Club Ovingen-Ubelingen in Ovingen, Germany. Winning here was Philippe Massionga. Philippe Massionga got his first win on the Pro Golf Tour, doing so in his home country of Germany. Trailing round 2 leader Louis Bonte by 3 shots heading into the final round, Massionga shot a 4 under 67 to move up to 13 under par, while Bonte could only extend his 12 under par score by 1, leaving both players on 13 under and heading to a playoff. It took 3 runs at the par 4 18th playoff for Masionga to eventually overcome Bonte, winning the title and moving up to 3rd place in the season's order of merit. And for another week, that was golf. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode. If you like what we do here at That Was Golf, be sure to follow us on our Instagram page at That Was Golf Pod and subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date with all future episodes released every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.